Tonight's postgame show is brought to you by the Pittsburgh Sports Report, Pittsburgh's premier sports publication. Pick up your copy today and visit them on the web at PittsburghSportsReport.com. Well, I got to tell you something. You're going to want to read all about this game because it was a marvelous football game. It looked like it was going to be a blowout. North Hills jumped out to a 16-0 lead, but then Upper St. Clair mounted a comeback. They fell just short, Coach.
First half was Upper St. Clair in the second half. And the bottom line is, just fell 2 points short. But ain't nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, both teams played their hearts out. It was a great high school football game.
What turned Upper St. Clair up a notch in the second half, do you think?
They were down 16-0.
That's what helped.
Yeah, and when they went into halftime, Coach Render probably read them the riot act. And so they came out, knew they had to pump their game up a little bit, which they did. And they did a wonderful job in the second half. And he just came that far away from putting it into overtime.
Great defense by North Hills. But Ellis Cannon, you have one of the great offensive players for the Indians tonight as your player of the game.
A difference maker, no doubt, Chris. Thanks as well to Coach. And, well, let's get right to it. You're our player of the game, Mark DeVita. You wear number 2. You were talking about whether you had a bloody nose. You deserve a bloody nose in a performance like that. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's a great win for us, and we worked hard this week, and we prepared well, and we deserve that.
Well, that's great to hear. You definitely came in tonight. 5 catches, 132 yards. You had the touchdown, and with all the big plays, it's easy to forget. You had a field goal from 23 yards out at the end of the first half. That's the margin of victory.
I think that's a huge momentum swing when you can enter the half like that. Get those points and run in there. That's a huge momentum swing, and we needed that.
You sound like a coach, young man. You know that, okay? Now that you're talking that way, I want to ask you, what about this pass game? Obviously, in the first half, you guys were able to make big plays offensively. Last week against Penn Hills, Upper St. Clair gave up some big plays. Did you know that coming into tonight?
Definitely. Our coaches do that research, and we knew what their weaknesses were. And with Steve and Taylor back there, they always seem to find me, and they do a great job.
Talk a little bit about the quarterbacks. They obviously were able to find you. The first half, 16-0. You guys had a lot of things going. Then in the second half, you got bottled up. You've got to give Upper St. Clair a lot of credit. What happened in the 2 halves?
I don't know. They made some adjustments at halftime. We threw an interception. We should have just ran out the clock. A couple mistakes here and there, and they capitalized on them. You go to the semifinals, obviously another big step, a program that knows all about big steps. Talk about what it means to be right in the middle of it, Mark. It's a great feeling. It's a senior year. It's my dream, and our team's ready for it. Okay, good luck. We'll follow you the rest of the way. Thank you. All right, Mark DeVita, the senior. He had a great game tonight. Special teams included. Don't forget that field goal because, once again, that 23-yard field goal is what made the difference, the final margin in this 2-point win for the Indians.
Hey, Chris, I want to say something to you.
Sure.
Mark DeVita, I was so impressed with him as a football player, as a kicker, as a receiver, as a blocker, all-around player. I'm going home tonight. I'm calling every Ivy League school I know. They got to recruit this kid. This kid is smart. I mean, you hear him speak. He speaks better than most high school coaches.
I'm telling you, if you were going to build a new coaching staff, I think you'd hire him as your top assistant right now.
After he graduates from one of them Ivy League schools.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's take a look at the Papa John's play of the game, and we had our player of the game who was an offensive player, but how about the defense of North Hills? You've got to credit them. That is really the difference in this game. We talked about DeVita's field goal, but how about that big goal line stand there to stop the conversion run?
Yeah, well, they're famous for defense. I mean, every Jack McCurry team he's ever coached has been famous on that side of the ball. Tonight was no different. They did a great job there. They made the big stop when they had to make the big stop, and they're moving on to the semifinals.
Ellis, give us a wrap from the sidelines.
I really thought that Coach hit it right on the head, Chris. You asked him a moment ago why the difference in the second half. Well, the X's and O's aside, the desperation factor had to be there. No question about it. They came out different. They got a little bit of a push offensively. Upper St. Clair did, and then, of course, Dakota Conwell made that great pass play and then capped off the drive of the 2-point conversion to get them back in the game. And defensively, Upper St. Clair bottling up North Hills, just the opposite of what we saw in the first half. It looked like it was going to be tied up, but of course there was that big play. You guys made the play of the game. Outstanding football game. Upper St. Clair falls short. A lot of kids very emotional here on the field following the game, and now North Hills marches on.
All right, Ellis, Coach, they always say defense wins championships, and defense won this ball game for North Hills.
Yeah, there's no question about it. In these big games, defense usually does do that for you. But I got to say one thing. Congratulations to Jack McCurry and his Indian squad. They did a wonderful job. They're going to the semis. Jimmy Render, you and your guys did a great job as well. You have nothing to be ashamed of, and you're young, and you'll be back next year. That's guaranteed.
And that puts a lid on it here on Comcast tonight. 16-14, the North Hills Indians win it over the Upper St. Clair Panthers, and North Hills marches on into the semifinals. What a great finish. What a great ball game we had here tonight. Again, North Hills 16, USC 14. For Ellis Cannon on the sidelines, Coach Don Yanessa here in the booth, and for our entire Comcast crew, I'm Chris Shufflin. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in the semis next week here on Comcast and Xfinity TV.